Okay, so hopefully by now you have watched the videos discussing the thematic apperception test and the Rorschach ink blot test, which are both projective tests. In this video, I just want to give a very brief overview of some of the problems or disadvantages of using projective tests. Because there are some big problems, and it's the reason that a lot of psychologists nowadays don't use them. They are still used, but most psychologists will use objective tests. Which brings me to my first point. One of the biggest problems with these tests is that they are subjective. Basically, two examiners may score someone completely differently because the way they are scored requires the examiner to interpret a person's response, and that's going to be influenced by their beliefs and their expectations, and what they think a certain response means. And so as a result, you could take one of these tests with two different examiners and get two completely different scores. So basically there's the potential of low inter-rater reliability. The other big problem is something called stimulus pull. So the idea with designing projective tests or designing stimuli for projective tests is that they're meant to be ambiguous. They shouldn't really look like anything in particular, or shouldn't really basically the idea is that they should be so ambiguous that whatever the individual sees in the image must be a reflection of what's going on in their unconscious mind. It shouldn't be a reflection of what is actually in the image or what the image actually looks like. And the problem is that despite efforts to make stimuli ambiguous, they often contain cues that may elicit or pull for certain types of responses. So there might be something about the image that pulls or causes you to provide a certain response. So for example, you might be looking at a picture of a person for the thematic apperception test. Maybe the person in the picture looks sad. If they do, then chances are when you're talking about what you see in the picture, you're going to say that the person looks sad. That's not a reflection of your personality or what's going on in your unconscious mind. That's a reflection of what the picture looks like, what the features that it has. So basically the point is with stimulus pull, if a stimulus has certain cues that pull for a certain response, then an individual's responses will involve reactions to the stimulus properties of the test materials rather than projections of their underlying personality. Finally, validity. Are these tests really measuring aspects of personality the way that they say they are? So, for example, with the Rorschach ink blot test, it is thought that someone who only sees animal figures in all of the ink blots and doesn't see any human forms might have difficulties relating to other people. How do we know that that is really what is being measured? How do we know that we're really measuring, or that really means that they have difficulties relating to other people? And that is the case with most projective tests. Are they really measuring what they say they are? Hence why they are not so commonly used anymore.